looking at some new stuff, and the first thing we're looking at is a for loop. A for loop allows us to iterate over something. Oftentimes a list, but not always a list. In this case, we have a 4-item list. When we print this, when we run this, what we're going to see is this. Hello A, hello B, hello C, and hello D. And the reason is because when we say for item in A, B, C, D, what we're saying is let's assign A to item, then print hello A, hello item, then loop back and assign B to item, then print hello B, etc. It's iterating over a list. Right. And so then, we had other questions like, let's just say I was printing this, like what would we see? I guess it's the same thing, really. What we say is we execute line 21, Y is a list. Line 23, AA is given the value A, right? And then we print A, then goes back to 23. So 23 to 24, then back to 23. AA is now B. And then we print 24. We'll print B on 24. Then back to 23, and AA becomes C. Right, exactly. Now, we can do that with lists that we create. We can also create a range. A range will give us a list of integers. This range 3 gives us the integers from 0, 1, and 2. Why is it just giving us 0 to 2? Well, partly because we just said range 3, so just 0, 1, and 2. So given that that's a list, we could combine these, and we could say for my num in range 5. Now, if we say for my num in range 5, we're really saying for my num in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The way this executes is it goes to line 47, 0 gets assigned to my num, we go to 48, we print my num and print 0. Then it goes back from 48 to where? 47. My num now is the value 1, right, and then we print 1, and then we keep looping. So whatever we want to put in this block, and we call this a block, we can. Let's get this to work.
That's just in that block.
Yeah, whatever's in that block will get executed. And in fact, if I put a done here,
the first time we were learning about blocks, we never done blocks. So.
We did blocks with while, but it was a while ago. Why is this not working? I've got another exit up here. But yeah, this is one of our first blocks. Remember we had if, elif, and else. Remember those? If, elif, and else.
Oh yeah, kind of. A little bit.
That was session 2 that we did last week. It's just going to take repetition. It's easy to forget stuff like that. Go away. All right. So here we're doing the number, then, come on. Okay, hold on, we're almost there. So here we're getting 1, then we're seeing a underscore, then we see 2, then an underscore, 3, and an underscore, because the block consists of print the current value and then print an underscore. Whatever is in that block we can do as many times as we want. And we're going to decide how many times by using range. So the goal then, the overall goal, given that we know how to, where is it? Given that we know how to, we know how to count successive integers using range and for, and we also know how to convert a number to binary. is to convert all numbers from 0 to 10 to binary. That would be the goal.
Okay.
So the question is whether or not you can combine the statements that are shown here into a program that will do that. Convert every number from 1 to 10 to binary.
Can you do print bin of AA?
Yeah, you could just say print bin of AA.
All right.
You'll just have to remember.
That's just that answer.
Well, I'm asking you to convert all the numbers from 0 to 10. So you're going to need to execute that binary call 10 times.
Yeah, 4 in.
Okay.
4 in, right? So I've got
That's right. Okay. What's that? Are you doing your own thing? You're not paying attention? We're doing important new stuff. You can't get caught in your own thing. You've got all the time in the world when you get home to do that.
So the first one would be 0, right? Oh yeah, 0 would be 0, 1,
0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1,
1,
right? 1, 0, 0, right?
0 to 10, right?
Right, and it's going up by the what you expect, right? 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1.
But when you say 0 to 10, it says that's 11 numbers, right? It's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Yes, that's true. If you wanted to get 10, you probably have to say range
11, right?
That's right.
Alright. So we got only
All the way to 1, 0, 1, 0. Is 1, 0, 1, 0, 10? I don't know. Probably.
find out, yeah.
You can find out easily. You could also, if you wanted, print both the decimal number and its binary equivalent on the same line. Or
Sorry, say that again.
print the regular number, the decimal number, and its binary equivalent. So rather than just print bin AA, you could print AA and then bin AA.
Okay.
So you could put a comma between the two. Or you could print them on different lines for those. But now what you want to do is do all of the numbers from 0 and 10. And the answer, I'm just going to jump into the answer, but sorry. Okay, yeah, just make sure, what are you going to do? What's your time? I'm trying to do first.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Should I do it with the border?
You don't need to do a border, we just need to see the binary numbers from 1 to 10. Converted to binary. What should we do next? We'll run out of time soon.
Are we up to speed? Are we
What's that?
anything that we're missing?
Say again?
Are we up to speed? Are we getting?
I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there. We got to keep going though. I think we're doing good.
Mind if I stand?
Right. So, all right. This is interesting. I don't know about known ports. I don't know what that is. Where does it say known ports? So I want us to read this solution to the problem of DOS and see if we can understand exactly how DOS actually works, because I'm not real clear on that. I don't understand what that dictionary is doing there. Knownports.get. Oh, I see what it is. No, I guess I don't. The solution does not include additional stuff. Do you want to see the solution? I'm sorry. We could print mynum and bin of mynum. So, yeah, all we need to do is, if we're counting from 1 to 0 to 10, we need to say range 11. And then we're just saying bin of mynum. Mynum is what? Mynum is each one of those integers. So, right, so that's the solution. That make sense? And if I run it, I guess we can see that.
Corresponding binary numbers to that.
Right, exactly.
This is a little confusing. I don't think we have anything that much in detail. But probably we might have writing in detail. Is that right? We have like a lot of detail writing about Python.
A lot of detail?
Yeah, writing like books, learning books on like detailed learning books on Python.
Well, I mean, they will do things that are like this.
Right.
I don't know where you're going to find an example that converts a sequence of numbers to binary, but it's probably somewhere.
Right.
But the idea, though, is that we're doing something over and over and over again with a successive set of integers. I should show you one other thing about range, and that is that when we wait, there's a problem here. What is the problem? Hello plus item. Oh, I keep forgetting. So I should show you one thing about range, though. I see what happened. Python 2. Whoops. Python 2 range. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I was just printing mynum. I see. I meant mynum and then bit of mynum. Right. Okay, but yay. So, but there's one other thing I need to show you about range, and that is that range can sometimes take a second argument. If I do 3, 5, I'm actually going to get the numbers from.
Oh, okay. 3 and 5.
Ugh, go away. I better make a new thing. Is it? Oh, I see. So wait. So if I go 3 to 5, here, hold on. I'm just going to clear out a little space here. I should make a new program, but I'm being lazy. You see how I get 3 and 4? Let's change that to 3 and 10. Now I get 3 through 9. So when you give it 2 integers, it'll count from the starting integer up to, but not including the ending integer. So what does range 10 get me? From where to where?
1, 0.
From 0 to 9, that's right. And 3, 10 will get me from 3 to 9. Okay. Now I want to show you the example, the solution they gave us for DOS, and see if we can understand it. Here it is. Now, raw input says host to scan, and what that means is you're going to put an IP there, right? That's what the host is, the IP. Input, I don't want to talk about that. Let's just assume they're raw input. But when it says IP range from and to, it's giving you basically 2 numbers. Do you see what I'm doing in range there? Or what it's doing in range? Range has 2 arguments. What are those 2 arguments?
Port.
The from port and the to port. That is, let's say we're going to scan from port 80 to port 1024. Okay. So it could be any range of ports. The port numbers are all reserved ports on the system. You could ask from 1 to 100 or from 80 to 1,000 or whatever you want, really. Now, the accept, I don't need to go into that right at the moment. But the accept is basically, if there's an error, it's just going to keep going. But look closely inside the try block. Socket.socket, right? It's doing the socket connection, creating a socket object. It's setting a timeout of 5 seconds, meaning that if the socket doesn't come back in 5 seconds, it's just going to stop. Then it's doing a connect with our host and I. I is our port number.
How do you do that?
Because when we do a connect, as we did in our prior
You're
one,
setting it, okay.
when we did a connect before, where is it? Where's our socket, man? Where's our socket connect? Is it in range? Damn it. Socket. Socket. There it is. When we passed it when we did a socket connect, we gave it what? Remember what type of object Z is? Can you tell?
What kind of object Z is? So we got those four that got S.
With the parentheses. Do you remember what that makes that?
Z equals. And I don't have that.
It's a tuple, remember?
Yeah, tuple.
The square brackets would be a list, that's a tuple. So in the tuple are going to be the host, which is our IP address, and the port. You see it's host and port in the tuple? Host and port. So you asked me how I knew that I was the port. Look closely at the s.connect. You see that? S.connect, right? What type of object am I putting in the parentheses?
Socket.
What type of object? When it says paren r host comma I, what does that look like to you?
Hold on. Okay.
Sorry.
This is a tuple.
That's a tuple, that's right. So the reason, so then remember on this one, the tuple that I was passing to connect.
What is it?
Z, and it has two items in it, host and port, right? So you want to remember right now that when you call connect, it needs to be a tuple with host and port. A tuple with host and port. That's what you pass to connect, a tuple with host and port. Now look closely. How do I know that I is the port?
Oh, you're setting I in range for F port and T port. So F port and T port is the new I, right? Is the new I or something like that.
Well, range gets us.
A range from F port to T port.
That's right. And what are F port and T port? They're whatever the person input. Yeah.
From I.
Right. So let's say we said 1 to 5. That's going to give us 1, 2, 3, and 4.
0, 0.
Well, when we give it 2 integers, we'll start at that integer. There's a lot of things to put together, but yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I is 1, 2, 3, 4. So first I is 1. Then we go into the block. We finally get to s.connect. See the s.
I got you.
And so it's connecting to the host at port I.
Okay.
Now, how do I know I is the port?
Because I is from F port to T port.
No. We know that I is the port because when we call socket or when we call connect, we give it host and port.
Right, when we call connect.
Right, when we call connect, we're going to give it host and port. Right?
That's connect right there, right? S is connect, line 10, that's connect.
S.connect.
S.connect is the connect. But what did you set S for then? Why did you set that for S? That's another way to connect as part of the connection.
Well, anytime you want to connect to a socket, you have to do it this way. You have to say socket.socket, give it that data, that information. I don't know what that is, but and then you get back a socket object, and then you say socket.connect.
Okay.
That's how you do that.
So you say S.connect.
Yeah, you say socket.connect. Actually, let's see.
That's S, right? Is that S for socket?
Oh, they're creating a new socket every time. Oh, that's what I have to do. What's that?
Is that a new? That's the S that you set up here on line 10, right? On line 14.
Yep.
So that's an S. It's not a socket. It's just S.
Well, where did S come from?
Well, it represents the socket.
That's right. It represents the socket. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a variable name called socket. Yeah. I mean, sorry, it's a variable name called S. Yes.
Okay, cool.
But it represents a socket object. Now I actually see what was wrong with my code when it said socket already in use. Do you remember that? I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I put my socket connection before the loop began, and in the example, it actually shows that you need to create a new socket every time you want to connect to a new port. All right, let's start again. There's a bunch of pieces, but let's see if we can remember that. What does range get you? First off, let's say in F port and T port, I put in 1 and 3.
Wait, where? F port and
T port. Let's say I put in 1 and 3. 1 and 3, yeah. So range is going to get me a list, right?
Yeah.
1 and 2, right? Okay. So then how many times is the for loop going to loop?
Twice.
1 and 2, that's right. So now I is 1.
I is 1.
Right? We go in, don't worry about the try except, but we go in to the for loop with I as 1. Right? We create a socket object with socket.socket. We set the timeout at 5 seconds. That means it's just going to keep going if it doesn't get a response in 5 seconds. And then we do a connect. We do a connect by passing a tuple. The tuple must have a host and a port. The host is our host, which was whatever we input to the program, right? Whatever host we chose. And I is what was the value of I? Remember?
1 and then
I, just I. What is I? I is 1, right? Yeah, I'm just going line by line as we execute. We're still in the first loop of the I range.
Okay, yeah.
So I is 1, that's right. So it's going to attempt to connect to the host at port 1.
Yeah.
Then it's going to go back and it's going to do these other things which you can leave later. And it's going to go back and then I will be 2. It will then create another socket, try to connect at port 2.
Yeah.
And then go back, I will be 3. It'll try to connect at port 3.
Right. And it's going to print found port 1, found port 2. What is known ports dot get?
Well, unfortunately, with this ridiculous example, they started to show us a dictionary, and it's not showing it to us. Print known ports that get I. Really annoying. It's annoying because the solution is not complete here. It's not showing the whole thing. You can see it's actually cut off. See how it starts at HTTP and all this crap? This is the code in the middle of. It's not all there. I don't think. Let me see. Oh, there it is. I see. It just broke. Here, let's turn it into.
They got it. They didn't fuck up, did it?
Well, they didn't really fuck up. It's just a Word problem. I mean, they fucked up and they gave it to us as a Word document. Why a Word document? Why don't you just make it a PDF? Fuckers. Yeah. Goddamn fuckers. All right, sorry. So let me see here. Let me do it here. How are you guys feeling?
All right.
Okay.
I think it's $10,000 course instead of $14,000. You have to negotiate a little bit.
You think it's a what? A 10,000 instead of a 1,000? What? You think it's more of a 10,000 than a 14,000? Is that what you're saying?
I think you get $49 a month is like $49 a month is for 4 classes. How much $1,400 divided by 4 is like 4, 8, 12 each. A little under $400 a class,
Well, my extreme concern is that, I don't know what they kind of got me last minute. I don't know what the regular instruction's like.
The regular instructors?
Yeah, I don't know what that regular instruction is like. What's that? Yeah, I have no idea whether it's going to be of higher quality or if it's better, organized. But if it's only organized in whatever way they can get it together, I don't know if it's really.
Well, they said they vetted you, so they like.
I am a good Python guy. That's true.
Yeah, so they got my version of Python.
I know, but the whole thing with that, I still can't get an answer as to whether I'm supposed to be here for 4 sessions or 5 sessions. It wasn't clear at the beginning, and it's still not clear.
We're only here at 3 now.
I know, because I couldn't be here for one of them. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, right. 3 or I should say 3 or 4. All right. All right. So I mean, but this is giving you an idea. So what it's doing with known ports is it's basically looping through the series of ports, and if it connected and didn't fail, then it actually, this is actually letting us see what of the standard ports are available. We haven't done dictionaries yet, so it's kind of hard to explain this. But do you see how 21 is FTP and 22 is SSH?
Yeah.
23 is Telnet. These are standard ports on a server. Servers have numbered ports. Remember I said that your web browser goes to port 80? I don't know if you remember me saying that, but there's port 80. HTTP is a web browser thing.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Security.
yeah, right. What's secure SSB? SSH is on 23. That's right.
23?
Port scanner. Oh, this isn't the DOS. This is the port scanner. Oh shit. Let's look at the DOS attack.
I think I'm a little better with their.
This is much better. This is much better. Actually, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. This is much better, but this is very similar. So let's look at it.
Wait, so what is it? What is this?
This is actually the DOS I was talking about.
Is it a DOS attack?
Yeah, but it's going to be very similar. So we've already done part of the work, which is good.
All right, well, let's attack a server.
All right,
Is there any server we can attack?
apparently. All right, let's see how this one works. Let's see if you can make sense of this.
Import socket, post equals run,
Please enter our IP address. That's going to get us back a string. That's the host. Please enter server port. There's the port number. That's going to come back from raw input converted to an int. That makes sense on line 6?
yeah. Please enter a server port.
Yeah. And so when they type into raw input, it's going to convert that into an int. Does that make sense?
It's already okay, it's doing that.
Yeah, doing it in one. How many packets do you want to send? That is asking for how many times you want to basically hit the port and get back an int.
Again, okay.
Okay. So now we set up a socket the way we already have. I don't know about this IP4V and TCP. This is more networking knowledge that you'll get later if you when you start taking classes. Then it's saying run X number of iterations. Now you know what iterations means? That means how many times are we going to loop? Iteration means one loop.
Okay, right.
2 at once, right?
Wait, which one? Which line are you on?
Line 12.
Line 12.
Run X number of iterations. When it says X number, see, this is what's confusing. They don't mean X number. Like, they don't mean X. They mean packets number. Can't stand it. So you see how packets, you see what packets is?
Uh-huh.
That was how many times do you want me to hit the port? And that's going to be an integer. So it's basically saying for X in range packets. So you know what range packets means. Packets is whatever number we typed. So let's say that we typed 5. Range 5, you know what that gets us.
Package, range 5, yeah.
0 through 4, right?
0 through 4.
So now it tries to connect to the hosted port, says that it did, and then and then comes back.
What? X is a socket. That's the connection.
Right.
The one that makes it. Okay. One packet number for X in range packets. Let's connect host port. Alright, I guess, yeah.
Well, do you see how many times 13 through 16 is getting executed?
13 to 16.
How many times is it executed?
What's the thing? X equals run, but.
Right. So it's however many they type there, right?
Right.
So it's basically going to connect to that hosted port 5 times or 100 times or 20 times, whatever you like.
Okay.
That's a DOS.
Right.
Connect over and over again. What I don't.
Packets is okay, how many packets do you want to send? Packet like an attempt. Each packet is an attempt. Is that what we call it?
That's right.
That's the cybersecurity lingo? Or?
Well, no. Packet is a little bit of information that is sent. When you make a request over the internet, it usually gets broken up into packets over the network, and all the packets get sent separately. And then when they arrive at the destination, they get reassembled. It's a little like the transporter on Star Trek. You know, they talk about, the transporter on Star Trek?
Is it a machine? What does it do?
It transports you, like it dematerializes you and then rematerializes you.
Okay, that's what it does.
I mean, that's what a transporter is supposed to do. Yeah.
Right.
So the packets is the same idea. It takes all the information, divides it up into little pieces, and then on the other end, it gets rematerialized. Anyway, that's what a packet is when they say packets. Has anybody tried to run this? Let's try running it. It's supposed to be the fun part. What's the IP address? Let me find out the host name. Let's do Yahoo's servers. I don't know. I don't know. I'm saying I don't know. We could get into a lot of trouble right now. You ready? Server port, let's hit port 80. How many times do we want to send it? 1,000 times. Ready? Go. I'm hitting port 80 1,000 times, dude. Yeah, for Yahoo.
They're okay with you doing that?
I don't know. I really don't think they would be. This could be serious. But why is it not, it's not saying anything? Maybe there's a timeout. Maybe it's timing out. This is not doing anything. All right, let me try it on 127. 127.0.0.1, port 80, 10. Connection refused, so there was no connection. Yeah, I don't know what port. Let's see. I think in the assignment they mentioned that. So where's our DOS?
Do you guys think it'll charge faster if I plug this in, like to a socket instead of like my laptop?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. All right, let's try it. We'll do it on the DOS, the 5100. I don't know what port though. It doesn't say what port. This is totally unsatisfying. It should either say request sent. We don't have a timeout on this. Why don't we do a timeout? I saw a timeout from the other solution. What was that one? What was it?
What's going on? I give you 1 cent.
Okay. All right.
So do you think cybersecurity is like more and more going to be more and more important for small businesses? Yeah.
Cybersecurity?
Yeah.
I mean, it's very important.
Even for small businesses, right? But what are small businesses doing? They can't like have teams like the big
No, they outsource. What they usually do is they get a product that has security baked in.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Like what? Like for point of sale system, but most of them have point of sale systems, right?
Let's try port 22.
Point of sale, alright, so you've gone lots, so we get a point of sale system that's already secure.
What did they use the port?
So it did the first one, and then the second one it said socket's already connected. Maybe we just have to create a new socket every time. What's that?
Wasn't the program defining the ports? And then when you send it back to the port?
Oh, find the port first? Right, we could do a port scanner first. Sure, let's try that. I want to do this first though. That's interesting. And then it timed out. Interesting. Okay, what were the other questions? I thought there was another question. Am I wrong?
Okay, so what do we do? What's going on? Does it work?
It looked like it started to connect. I don't know enough about the stuff to know whether that was a useful attack or not. I mean, and then the second one, but oh, I need to put this in a try as well and just say continue.
We're going to learn about this try.
Yeah, you got to learn about this try.
Socket got timeout.
Are they each timing out? Maybe the port decided like timed out. 4, 5, timed out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, timed out. That's going longer than 5 seconds. 1004, 1000, right? 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1000.
Oh, here you go. It's actually on phone.
5 seconds. Set timeout. Yeah, there's a lot going on here, but all of them. Yeah, we should do a port scan. We could do a port scan next, but we're almost to 2:30. So let's see. I think probably what we need to do is solidify what we already do know. But the real question is, number one, can I give you assignments to do? And number two, would you actually do them? And you guys both worked. You weren't able to work, right?
Can we go over number 1.2, 1.4 before we leave?
Sure. Let's see. Let me just complete the thought. So,
I'll do the homework before we're not getting
what did we? I mean, let's talk about the things that we've learned today, because we learned a bunch of things, right? We learned about binary, octal, and hexadecimal, and I think that's really important. We learned the binary, oct, and hex functions for converting. We learned that. And we had that here. And I can give you some of these pieces if you want them. So that was just, converting. We also learned about string splitting.
Yeah, your notes are nice. You think we could have like a files too? These files?
These files? I can zip them up for you. We also learned about string splitting. So we were able to take something like, this, and do a split on period, something like that. And we also learned about lists. Yeah, that's right. Base 64. I'll put that up near binary.
Base 64, what is that again?
It's sort of like hex, which is base 16, or bin, which is base 2. This is base 64. We learned about splitting, and that gives us a list of strings. We also learned about lists and subscripting a list. We learned that. We learned about range, generate a sequence of integers. We learned about tuples and similarity to lists. We also learned about looping, for looping over a list and over a range. So that's quite a lot, actually. And I mean, that's a good thing in a way, although it's not really going to come home until you guys use it. Now, I'm not going to have time to really give you assignments, but what I could do is possibly try to choose assignments from my current materials and see if that'll help a little bit. All right, let me pause this.
So I'm actually on your website right now.
Yeah.
Do you recommend that we each read the course workflow documents, the topic workflow documents, or the documents?
No, the workflow documents are more for handling the course materials for the NYU course.
So that's not for us. Like the reference documents is something we need to take a look at?
Well, the reference documents, the getting started are about just getting programs to run.
Right.
The executive summary is really just a rundown of everything that we learn in the intro course. Yeah. The code quality requirements are basically just good style. And I'm asking my students to do that usually, and you should too.
Right.
Things like no space after the len function name,
Oh, yeah, why?
Because it's just not good style.
So it's for like quality control. Quality control.
Yeah, code becomes much easier to read when you're using a uniform style. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's good when you have good clean code and everyone can read it.
Yeah.
Python 3 Quick Sheet is like a 2-pager with all the same stuff, but it's just on 2 pages, so you could print it and laminate it if you. That's helpful. 2 versus 3 we talked about. This is just a basic thing on Unix and DOS. You remember at the very beginning when I first came in, I showed you like CD. So that's here. So those reference documents are all useful.
Well, in session 2, reading, should we read all the stuff? Session 2, checklist, feature summary, debugging workflow, exception reference, quality requirements.
Well, some of these are repeated.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I mean, the code quality is at the top. It's the same document. I just put it in a list so that you could look through it. I mean, so that my NYU students could look through it and say, here's what I need to look through, like the debugging workflow.
The slides, and then you have slides, show data, conditional, homework, homework.
So the slides are just all the major material from that session. What's going to be a little challenging is that today we really didn't go over session 3 because they don't really want you necessarily to be able to read file data. And the whole session is organized around reading file data, although a lot of the same things are there. Split is there.
What is file data about? What is reading file?
Like a CSV file. You know, like if you had a file like this, CSV file, I don't know if you've seen a file like this before. Like how would you sum up all the floats in this column? The answer is you would loop through the file line by line. You'd get a string on each line. You would split that line into a list. Then you would take that second item from the list and convert to a float. You've already done a good portion of that. Well, no, I could show you. It's really straightforward.
That's cool.
Like, I don't know, we didn't do open. We didn't open a file object? I don't think we did this. When you open up a file like this, you loop through the file line by line using for. I mean, I think it's going to be useful for you to do these things. I just couldn't. What?
Session 3?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can just like go on your YouTube page and do it, right?
Yeah, you can. You can look at the YouTube videos. You know where the videos are, right?
Does it make sense to like no Python without that?
You know, I mean,
why don't they want us to do session 3?
Because in session 3, I have them focus on just working with files. What hackeru wants you to be able to do is some of the things we looked at with the IPs and stuff. It's not related to files. If we spent this whole session talking about files, it would be useful, but it wouldn't be getting us closer to what they wanted you to get, which was being able to do a DOS, being able to do a port scan. And so that's why I jumped to that, because I wanted them to...
So is Python used for more than just hacking, or is it just for hacking?
No, Python's used for a million things. Financial analysis, it's used for web programming if you want to write server-side web programs. It's used for bioinformatics when you're studying the human genome. It's used for just thousands of things. Huh?
Well, we're learning it specifically for hacking.
Right. We're learning Python in order to hack with it.
Okay.
Right. Because you guys want to be hackers, right?
Yeah. Sure. For sure.
You guys want to learn how to hack. So they're showing you how to hack. I mean, this is a port scanner. It's, you know, this is why I showed you range. This is why I showed you looping. Is because in order to do a port scan, you have to, wait, is this DOS? This is the DOS. In order to do a port scan, you need to range over a series of ports and check each one to see if it connects. And if it connects, then you acknowledge that it connected. And so you need to know range, you need to understand the socket thing. This is why we did all this. That's why we did these things. You should let me send you, I should send you these questions and answers. Now let's see, what does that mean? We can go over that solution in a minute, but I'm trying to gather my thoughts and think about how I'm going to get you to do some work here. I mean, we can, go over these solutions again, and I can ask you, whose phone? Oh, you're charging it. But it'd be better if you had more abstract exercises that ask you to go through each of the steps and then try a bunch of the different steps. On the other hand, we have all these exercises here. So in session 3, let's look at the exercises. Like loop through a file, loop through a file, loop through a file, isolate a column, isolate a column.
And the videos teach us how to do that, right?
What's that?
The videos teach us how to do that.
Yeah, in the videos.
Perfect. Well, your tuple is like pretty much replace yourself. You automate yourself as a teacher. You do like
That's right.
Website.
Right.
You have any questions.
Then I can sell it and retire. That's right.
You can make money off of it.
I could make money off of this. It's possible. What am I going to ask you to do?
And you kind of got it hidden. Like if somebody Googles your name, they don't really get access to this website, right?
They do.
Well, they have to Google your name, introduction to Python.
Yeah, but then they get it right away. Yeah, if they type David Blakey Python, they get it right away.
No, they don't.
No, not there. That's right. You're right. Yeah, it's a little harder to find.
How about the YouTube? Are they going to do? YouTube?
The YouTube, I kind of wanted to get out there. The YouTube, I really wanted to get out there so that people could learn. And also to try to spread my fame. But I never really tried to get the name out there. I should try, I guess.
To spread your fame?
Yeah.
Well, I think you're kind of like more focused around Python. So like you're like a Python, you're like famous with Python. So.
Yeah, I want to.
And maybe you don't want your information going to the wrong hands. So you don't want to,
What's that?
maybe you want to be teaching like black hats.
Not really, no. When I saw this, I'm like, what? We're teaching them to do a DOS? What?
What do you mean?
Teaching you how to like fuck up a server. I mean, that doesn't seem like the right thing to do.
Well, I want to test it on like some servers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like some businesses that they give you permission to test. Test people's stuff out, or my own stuff. So I'm gonna hack DDoS a server. We plan DDoS a server.
We tried to. Oh, you mean you all want to hit the server at the same time?
Do something, right?
Well, let me give you. Let's go over the solutions to the exercises, and I'm going to try to decide what to do. You want to do session 1?
Session 1, right, projects.
Oh, the project?
Yeah, projects.
For 1.1?
1.3.
1.3. Well, this is just math.
So I think
It's just like the tip calculator. Let's say you were buying olives, and let's say one olive had like 20 ounces and it was $2, and the other one had 10 ounces and it was like $1 or $1.50, let's say. So let's say you had 2 bottles of it. You're just trying to figure out which is better. Have you never stood in the market like this? You've got 10 ounces for $2. 20 ounces for $2 and 10 ounces for $1.50. Now, which one's the better value?
$2 for 20 ounces.
Why do you say that?
Because those ones are like 25 or 50% more expensive, or 25% more expensive.
There you go. How do you calculate that?
I kind of did it in my head.
So how would you calculate it? You would take, you basically want to know how much does an ounce cost, right? So you do 20 divided by 2, and that would get you what? 10. And you would do, go